Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mnuchin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber of our channel yet, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Please gently ignite that notification button because remember the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Also, if you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. That's your vote of support in me and my team and all the efforts that go into this channel behind the scenes. My name is Dr. Mnuchin Chhoda. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. In this video, I'll dig deeper into some of the important comments from the US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, and something that he said really jumped out at me. I'll dig into that interview and I'll actually show you specific segments of what the US Treasury Secretary said, specifically the administration's position on the bailout for blue states and other really important things pertaining to the state of the economy. First, let me start by showing you a tweet on your screen from Carl Quintanilla from CNBC, who said that the United Airlines CEO, who actually was interviewed this morning on CNBC, said that he expects business demand to return to normal in 2024. The United Airlines said that it could take another 3 to 4 years before demand returns to normal for the airlines. That just blows my mind. 2024. I just so that my viewers and subscribers know, I was always traveling at least a couple times a month, traveling all over the country, traveling all over the world on business, meeting with business partners and things like that. But I haven't traveled since March of this year, and I don't intend on traveling. And I believe that a lot of the consumer demand for travel will indeed come back. But I think the business demand for travel, business passengers, flying business class or doing business meetings who travel a lot, I think that is going to vanish. And I think there's going to be a long lasting impact to the airlines industry. So let's get back to US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and what he said on CNBC this morning. He was asked a very important question. He was asked if the administration and the Republicans are united, are on board in their communications with him, meaning Mnuchin, as he negotiates with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Because remember, we have been seeing a lot of signs emerging where the president says something different, the Senate Majority Leader says something different. The president wants the Senate, wants the Congress to go big or go home. And the Senate Majority Leader has said that they're putting forward a $500 billion bill next week. And in his own words, he's putting forward what he thinks is appropriate at this time. So when Mnuchin was asked about this, he said that all my communications with the Speaker, meaning with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, involved both the President and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. And he said there are certain areas where we have complete agreement on the Senate side. I thought it was interesting the language that he used, and he said that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell agreed that we will bring the Paycheck Protection Program on the floor. This is the $500 billion bill next week. And he said we'll try and get it done. And he said we are moving forward and seeking input from everybody. So I thought that was interesting and encouraging because we do want the administration and the Senate to be on board. He was asked about the testing strategy from the administration, and he outlined several things that the administration had done. He said the administration had invested a lot of money in testing, and he said we have funded 7 different vaccines and the president has executed dramatic spending for testing and vaccines. That's what Mnuchin said. And he was asked to comment on something that I thought was very strange and unusual. He was asked to comment on a story from the New York Times, and you'll actually see that story on your screen here. As the virus spread, reports of Trump administration's private briefings fueled sell-offs. And according to this story, and I'll quote a small portion of the story, hours after he had boasted on CNBC that the virus was contained in the United States, this is White House Senior Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow, he has said it was pretty close to airtight. Mr. Kudlow delivered a more ambiguous private message to some Republican donors and board members. He asserted that the virus was, I quote, contained in the US to date, but now we just don't know, according to a document describing the sessions obtained by the New York Times. Gosh. So Mnuchin was asked to comment on that, and this is what he said. He said, I cannot imagine that this occurred. There were plenty of investors who had their own views at the time, and rightly so. And he did emphasize, and he's correct, by the way, Mnuchin's correct when he emphasized that had there not been a CARES Act, we would not have seen the recovery. So he said, and I quote US Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, my guess is this is another exaggeration by the New York Times. So, and I did think it was a very strange and unusual story. So I'm not going to get into that story in a lot of detail. But in fact, CNBC's Jim Cramer said that it was a strange story as well. So I will provide you with a link to that story in the description section below. So feel free to check it out. US Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin was also asked to comment on some fraud that took place with the Paycheck Protection Program. As far as Wells Fargo employees were concerned, you probably heard about that. And he was asked if it was a tip of the iceberg. He said, I don't think it's a tip of the iceberg. He said, I am glad that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, got to the bottom of it quickly. He said, it's quite unfortunately, and he said, we are working with the Small Business Administration on the audit program. He said that all loans of $2 million or higher will go through an independent review. And unfortunately, he said, if any program goes out quickly, you have some bad actors and we will catch them. And he said for loans of less than $2 million with the programs rolled out by the SBA, he said that they would use artificial intelligence to try and identify if there was any misuse. And this part is important. He was asked, is there a deal to be had? And I did cover some comments from Mnuchin earlier in my video today, where I highlighted some of the things he said on Fox Business last night with Lou Dobbs, which were pretty much the same as what he said to CNBC this morning. He said the administration is not willing to give up on hardworking Americans. Unemployment is way down, but it's still too high. We will not give up fighting for the American people. He said, if the Democrats can help us with $300 billion, we can get the money out this week. Yeah, that's what he said. And he said, if they approve standalone checks, we will get that money out quickly as well. We are not giving up. Very, very interesting comments. Now, he was specifically asked about the bailout for blue states, which has been a big concern for the administration, specifically for the president, because the president has said he did not want to, I quote, bail out poorly run democratic states. And I thought what Mnuchin said was very interesting. In fact, we're going to roll that segment right now. He said money allocated to states cannot, I repeat, cannot be used to pay pension funds, must go to policemen, firemen, first responders. So I thought that was an important comment. Let's roll the tape and see exactly what Mnuchin had to say.
We've been very clear that any of the money that we allocate to the states can't go to use to pay pension funds and other problems. In certain cases in cities, we're working with the states to institute or what are state financial control boards. But the objective here is, if we are going to allocate money to the states, to make sure that it goes to policemen, firemen, first responders, medical people. We want to make sure these people don't lose their jobs. They've been on the front line. If they lose the jobs, they go on unemployment. We end up having to pay for them. So our objective is, if we send any money, to make it very targeted.
Are you hopeful that anything will be done before the election?
I'm always hopeful, Lou, and we're going to keep trying. I think it's obviously hard to get it done. If the speaker wants to compromise, we can get this done quickly. But we're going to keep working. The president is determined. We're going to get this done. And if we don't get it now, when the president wins the election, we'll get it passed quickly afterwards.
Let's turn now then to the economy, Mr. Secretary. We've seen some bright spots, as you say. We have seen surprising strength, for many surprising strength in the economy. Is it sustainable, and what do you see over the next few months?
I think it is sustainable, and the good news is the president's economic policies have worked. The bipartisan package worked. These have had tremendous impact. We're going to have a very, very big GDP number coming up. We've had very big jobs numbers. But again, what we want is targeted help for areas of the business, again, that are small businesses. I think 50% of our private payroll is in small businesses. There's a lot of small businesses, no fault of their own. We got to help.
That's it, everybody. Let me know what you thought of the Mnuchin interview, his comments on CNBC this morning. Please comment below. And also, you'll find a link in the description section to the entire interview. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you learned something new. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Remember, we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. East Coast time. You can get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000. And then you'll get added to SMS alerts list. Now, if you want, you can also get on our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get added to our email list going forward. Sometimes YouTube does not send out email notifications or notifications through the app. So what you can do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then that way you're not dependent on notifications, and you can check out the homepage of our channel for all our latest videos. You're never going to miss a single video, and you can watch it at your convenience. Now, you can also follow us on Instagram. Simply go to ignition_time on Instagram. Find us on Instagram at ignition_time. That's our handle. And you can get exclusive content on Instagram. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You'll get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter. So we look forward to growing with you on Twitter. Also, please click like on our video if you learned something new. Please ignite the subscribe button. Remember, the name of our channel is Ignition Time, and also enable notifications so you get instant updates from us going forward. Remember, once again, we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. All the links to our sources, to our news sources, are always found in the description section below. If you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking like, please subscribe, please enable notifications, and also please comment below and participate with us and engage with us in our growing community. We find that our community, which is growing, which is respectful, which consists of highly astute, highly intelligent individuals, is a very valuable part of what we have to offer as our channel. And oftentimes, I think you'll get valuable insight from our community, oftentimes more so than what you get in the videos, because I think the collective insight of the community is significantly greater than what I can offer you. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.